Lord Chaitanya, the relationship between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Shiva. Of course, I'm not going to speak on that, but I'm just saying. So, so Lord Chaitanya, when he went to South India, he had gone to so many Shiva temples. Practically at least 15-20 temples, are mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhubaneswar he had gone. And he had gone to Bhubaneswar. Then he had gone to Srishailam. Then he had gone to Pakshitirtha. He had gone to Shivakanchi. He had gone to Mallikarjuneshwar. He had gone to Srikalahasti. He had gone to Trayambakeshwar. At least these are some of the dhams which I can immediately remember. And Lord Shiva, he had a very wonderful relation with Lord Chaitanya. How he's in Navadvip, how he's worshipping Lord Chaitanya, and so like that. So we were meditating on glories of Lord Shiva, which was very nourishing. And today we have an opportunity to meditate on Lord Chaitanya, which is all the more nourishing. So in this way, it's a blessing. And whatever difficulties we have in our life, if at all any, they become very insignificant. There's a saying, Lord Chaitanya, if we remember Lord Chaitanya, even something which is very difficult becomes very trivial. And if we forget Lord Chaitanya, even something which is very trivial becomes next to impossible. Like that. So blessing of Lord Chaitanya is like that. Because Lord Chaitanya is very personal also. He is situated in each and everyone's heart, and he is very personal. One pastime which Lord Chaitanya exhibits, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavan speaks about, is the Mahaprakash Leela, wherein Lord Chaitanya is so personal. He practically, of course, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, he is non-different from Srimati Radharani, and he is carrying the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he has exhibited it to the highest extent, and to such an extent that he remained aloof from everyone in Puri for almost 12 years, more than 12 years. But at the same time, he is very personal also. But at the same time, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna is full of contradictions, and all contradictions are resolved in him. So similarly, Lord Chaitanya also, though he is the highest, at the same time he is very personal also. So Mahaprakash Leela is one such pastime where Lord Chaitanya, he shows how he is so personal to all of his devotees. He calls one after another each and every devotee. And there are some who are mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then Chaitanya Bhagavat also mentions, he calls many of the devotees, and he fulfills all their desires. Like that it is mentioned. So initially he calls, as and when, actually Lord Chaitanya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Lord Chaitanya is in a dasya ras. I'm sorry, devotees who serve Lord Chaitanya, they are always in dasya ras. So they don't, in general, we worship Lord Chaitanya only in dasya ras. There could be some rare occasions where other devotees have, like Sachi, sometimes she exhibits Vatsalya Bhava. Some of the friends of Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, they may exhibit different bhava. But in general, it's very rare. Such occurrences are very rare. In general, devotees exhibit dasya ras towards Lord Chaitanya. The glories of Advaita Acharya, chapter number 5 in Adi Leela. The whole chapter, Advaita Acharya describes that how all Lord Chaitanya's devotees, they are in mood of servitude to Lord Chaitanya. And because Lord Chaitanya is offering a different mood to Advaita, so therefore he is praying and repeatedly saying that I am servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am servant of Lord Chaitanya, like that. So in general, so all the devotees are in mood of servitude to Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya would never accept himself as Supreme Personality of Godhead. In general, he would say that I am, we are all servants of Krishna, like that. So, but on this particular occasion of Mahaprakash Leela, he had accepted that mood that I am Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was sitting on the asan, and Vishnu's asan, and he was, and he became very sober, very grave. So all the devotees were thinking, so they did not see Lord Chaitanya ever, how, being so grave. So he became so grave and very sober, and so immediately they could understand that Lord Chaitanya is up to making some particular pastime. So then he declared that I am Vishnu and I would accept all the offerings. Whatever offerings you would want to offer me, you can offer me. And then he said, he called all the devotees and he told them to perform Abhishek. So all the devotees, they lined up, they went to Ganga, they lined up, they brought, pots of Ganga water in order, hundreds of pots of Ganga water in order to do Abhishek. And then they brought different milk and curd and all these different fruit juices in order to do Abhishek of Lord Chaitanya. Abhishek, if we see, in general, we do to the deities. But a personality, if you do a person to person himself, juices and honey and all that, so it may be little different. But Lord Chaitanya had accepted it. He accepted all of their offerings. And when all the devotees were offering their offerings, making their offerings, bringing with great enthusiasm, they are bringing different kind of ingredients in order to offer to Lord Chaitanya. There was one devotee who was always in the background, who never came in the front. And Lord Chaitanya took note of it. And her name was Duki. So, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj recently was explaining about Duki. He said, in general, people, sometimes, they keep this name, Duk or Duki, so that people will not, unnecessarily trouble them like that. So like that. So he was telling about one devotee, so, who named herself Tumar Duk, Russian name, yeah. So she had a Russian initial, which is it's a common surname, Tumar. And then, she named herself Duk. And so they do not know in India what is the meaning of, probably, they do not know. So they went to some Gujarati family and so they were asking, what is your name? So then she said, Tumar Duk. So they could not laugh, they could not hide laughing. So like that. So in general, people keep such names in order so that people they may keep such names so that people don't unnecessarily trouble them like that. So this lady was named Duki. But she was with such great enthusiasm, she was rendering service to Lord Chaitanya. So, bringing pots of water and assisting all the devotees in making all the Abhishek paraphernalia and ingredients ready. So Lord Chaitanya became very happy. Henceforward, your name will be Sukhi. So not only did he give her the name Sukhi, but he also gave her the highest happiness of Krishna Prem. So in this way, he made her life very happy. Then Lord Chaitanya asked for different offerings. So he said, get your offerings. So they started bringing, someone brought banana, someone brought sweet meat, someone brought rasgulla, someone brought different kinds of offerings, mounds of rice and truckloads of chapatis and different varieties of sabjis and everything he ate it in at one go. So how can imagine if in front of us there are different varieties. We'll take some time to eat, right? We can't try to eat everything in one go. So we don't know how he ate everything in one go. Govardhan we can understand. Govardhan was such a big form. At least we can understand means we can understand from our intellectual imagination. Govardhan was such a big personality, and he had he had long arms and long, probably large mouth. So he took everything in one go, we can understand. But Lord Chaitanya was the same person. And he was only 7 feet tall. We don't hear that he had long arms. Means he had long arms reaching up to knees, but not more than that. So, and he had one mouth, which probably is maybe a little bigger than our mouth. So how he ate everything in one go is not explained. But he ate everything in one go is said. So he ate everything in one go. So many devotees, they have brought everything from everywhere. They have collected everything, put everything forward, and he ate everything in one go. What to do now? And he said, bring more. Where will they get? Where will they get from? Bring more. Today he is very, he is very eager and he is very, kind of demanding. Bring more. So then, Advaita said, how can we reciprocate with you if you keep asking, bring more? So then they offered Tulsi. So he became very happy. Like Lord Krishna. Govardhan also, when he was offered Aniyor, he was saying they were bringing and how much they can bring. There's a limit capacity, ordinary devotees, all of us. How much we can offer to Lord Chaitanya? We have our capacity, mental and physical conditioning. So, but Govardhan had accepted Tulsi and he became very happy. Lord Chaitanya similarly had accepted Tulsi and he became very happy. Then he started calling out devotees. So he said, Gangadas Pandit. Gangadas Pandit was teacher of Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Nimai, when he wanted to study, and his father Jagannath Mishra was not in favor of his studying, and Nimai was so adamant, he went and sat on the used pots, and he said, I am not going to come down unless and until you give me permission to study. So then Sachi said, okay, I will give you permission, and he made a Sangatan, he pulled all other neighbors towards his side, and he said, they all said, no, you have to sit there till the time your mother agrees to study, agrees to make you early, agrees to for you to go sent to school. So then finally Sachi said, okay. She brought him down, and then she went to Jagannath Mishra, and Jagannath Mishra said, okay. And earlier when Jagannath Mishra told Sachi that why he should not study, he said, because Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is doer. Even if he doesn't study, he will be maintained, don't worry. Same philosophy, without any, same lines was also offered by Sachi, Jagannath Mishra's friends. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he has to take sannyas, he will anyway take sannyas whether he will study or not. So what is the point in not making him study? So like that. So then Lord Chaitanya was asked, whom do you want to be your teacher? So Nimai Pandit, at the Nimai, little Nimai, he said, I want Gangadas Pandit to be my teacher. So he had so much affection for Gangadas Pandit. So Lord Chaitanya, at different times, he was exhibiting different pastimes of how he supreme, means the devotees, they were having some devotees who were, they were having a doubt, probably his Supreme Personality of Godhead. Earlier I am saying. So one time, Nimai and Gadadhar, they went to Advaita's home, and Advaita was chanting and all that, and Nimai was also started chanting, and he fell unconscious. So when he fell unconscious, then Advaita pulled out agarbatis and incense and lamp and all that, and he started offering. Gadadhar said, what you are doing here? Advaita is 52 years elder to Lord Chaitanya. As far as I remember. So 52 years elder to Lord Chaitanya. So at that time, say Nimai was 14 or something like that. So he should be 66, something like that. So he pulled out his agarbatti and incense and ghee lamp, and he started offering aarti. Gadadhar said, what are you doing? This is a small boy. You are such an elderly person. Leader of all the Vaishnavas. Why are you offering aarti to Nimai? Said Gadadhar, how long will you consider this Nimai to be small boy? So that was one of the first instances. where it is revealed that Nimai is no ordinary boy. So Gangadas Pandit has his own revelation. So it is explained. One time Gangadas Pandit goes to Bath. He was getting doubt, from his scholarship, Nimai scholarship and all that, everywhere he's talking, his dealings and all that, that this person might be Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he goes to Bath. And when Guru goes to Bath, the disciples also go with him to help him, like that. So Nimai also went with Gangadas Pandit. So he went into Ganga. Gangadas Pandit goes into Ganga. And Nimai was standing on the bank. And he forgot his gamcha, something like that. So then he was, after going inside Ganga, quite ahead, he thought that if Nimai is Supreme Personality of Godhead, I will call him now and he will come here without becoming wet. If he comes here without becoming wet, then I will accept him to be Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that he thought. So he goes in midst of Ganga, and then he remembers his gamcha. He shows that he's remembering his gamcha. And then he says, Nimai, I forgot my gamcha, get my gamcha. And then he carefully watches that Nimai is coming or what he's, how he is coming. So Nimai puts his foot. As and when Nimai puts his foot, immediately from inside a lotus came out. And Nimai puts his foot on that lotus. And then he puts his next foot. Another lotus comes up. Nimai puts his foot on that lotus. And like that, Nimai goes till Gangadas Pandit. One after another, there were lotuses coming out. And Nimai was putting his feet on those lotuses. And then he goes and he offers kamcha to Gangadas Pandit. And Gangadas Pandit, in his heart of his hearts, he becomes totally satisfied and contented that, this Nimai is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, like that, because, he is master of Ganga. So like that. So in this way, Gangadas Pandit, though he was playing the role of being teacher, he was knowing well that this Nimai is none other than Supreme Personality of God. So Gangadas Pandit, today he calls Lord Chaitanya, he calls Gangadas Pandit. Gangadas Pandit. So do you remember? So at one time there was some coup or something like that, and the Muslim soldiers, they were attacking all the ordinary citizens, and they came and they were attacking everyone indiscriminately. Sometimes it so happens, now we are so, and at that time it was, can you imagine such kind of situation? We hear that at that time it was a different kind of rule, and and people were exploited and all that, but we don't so much pay attention. But at least from this past time we can understand what kind of social and political scenario it was. So the rulers were, the soldiers were going after Gangadas Pandit. Gangadas Pandit was running, and finally he came to the banks of Ganga, and there is no way to go. And it was dark, pitch dark. So he was wondering what to do. And he thought that if I remain here, the soldiers are coming after me, and they will come near me, and they will kill me, they will violate the chastity of my wife, and then better, instead of seeing all these things and being humiliated in this way, let me drown myself. Like that he was considering, and he was calling out for a boatman. No one was coming, and finally one boatman came. So Lord Chaitanya is so personal. He could have just desired, and anyone could have gone. But he is so personal. Gangadas Pandit is such a great servant of his that he himself became a boatman in order to rescue Gangadas Pandit. So Lord Chaitanya says, Gangadas Pandit, do you remember at that time when, and this was nowhere, Gangadas Pandit spoke to nobody ever. So at that time, you were trying to escape and a boatman came there. Yes, I remember very well. It was a great moment of great anxiety. Yeah, do you know who that boatman was? It was I who trusted as boatman in order to rescue from these malachas and in order to rescue from these plunderers. I have come there in order to take care of you. So Bhangadas Pandit became overwhelmed with devotion. So Lord Chaitanya is so personal. He is so personal. He could have sent anyone. The story of, there's a story, Akbar Birbal story, right? And one time it is said, this Akbar Birbal story, it is said, some people say it is different personalities. Anyway, the story is that the Birbal says that, Akbar says that, why your Krishna should come personally? What is the point in coming personally? If he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has so many people, why he should come personally? Jada Birbal says, Acha, okay, let us see. So then they go for a boat ride. So when they go for a boat ride, immediately, on the way inside somewhere in midst of Ganga somewhere, in the river somewhere, Birbal, he picks up the son and he throws it into the water. Such courage is needed to do that. Probably they had a relation. Otherwise he would be executed afterwards. so he throws him into the water. Immediately Akbar, jumps without asking questions. He did not ask his commanders or someone to jump. His ministers to jump. He himself jumped and went inside, swam and brought out the child and said, "What nonsense! Why have you done? Or what you have done? You're qualified to be executed." He said, "Wait. Why? First of all, answer me this question. Why did you jump?" Probably others also might have jumped, seeing Akbar jumping. Others also probably might have jumped, we don't know. So first of all, why did you jump? There were so many people who were jumping. Why did you jump? My grandson, why I will not jump? I'm so, my grandson is drowning, why I will not jump? Now you understood why Krishna personally comes. Because you love your grandson so much, you jumped yourself. So Lord Chaitanya loves Bhagavan Pandit so much, therefore he came as boatman himself. Why he will not come? Why he will not come? He will come. Then one another devotee is mentioned. His name is not mentioned. He had fever. So he had fever. And fever is so, it was, extreme fever. 104, 105, something like that. See, for a prolonged period fever, if a high fever is there, it's very risky for the life. So the people were trying out various options. So the fever was not going down. So and then he told Lord Chaitanya, said, "Do you remember this particular devotee? Do you remember you had a fever? Marana Jwar? High fever." So and different people were coming, different solutions, remedies, nothing was working out. And then finally one doctor had come. You do not know where the doctor had come from. And then he gave some medicine. And that medicine had cured you. He said, "Oh, I remember very well. And I was supposed to die at that time. And somehow I became saved. So I remember it very well. Why don't I remember?" He said, "Do you know who the doctor was? I was that physician. I personally came in order to take care of you." So the devotee became overwhelmed with happiness and he became unconscious. Then Lord Chaitanya called Srivas Thakur. Srivas, so do you remember long back when Devananda Pandit was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam? So Devananda Pandit was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, and Devananda Pandit was, he was a scholar, he's a scholar and he's a great devotee. He eventually became a great devotee. So at that time he was very scholarly. And when he was scholarly, when someone is speaking, someone who is very scholarly, he speaks Srimad Bhagavatam, naturally many people come and attend. So there were many people attending. The many followers, or many of his disciples were there. So Srivas understood that someone is speaking Bhagavatam, so he thought, I'll also go and hear. So he goes and he sits there and he starts hearing. And Bhagavatam is such a text, even if the speaker is speaking, he may not be very advanced, but if the hearer is very advanced, because the Bhagavatam is such a text, it can. One time Lord Chaitanya just became a devotee, so he was walking along with all his disciples, all his students. He just became a devotee, and the conversation was going that whether Lord Nimai, Gangadas Pandit, just day before he came to meet him, Lord Nimai and Lord Chaitanya, and he said that you became a devotee, very nice, but you should also teach your students, I think, like that he said. And like your father, he's a very great devotee, Nilamba Chakravarti, very great devotee. I'm also a very great, very wonderful devotee. But we also teach. So you also teach, like that he said. Yes, I will teach. So next day he goes to school to teach. So he teaches something and then he goes, let us go for taking bath. That's how it is. So on the way, while he is going, there is one devotee named Ratnagarbha Acharya. So he is in his own personal love, he is sitting at his home and he is reciting Bhagavatam verses. Sitting at a threshold, near the entrance of the home, and he was reciting verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam which Brahmana Patnis, Yajna Patnis, they offer to Lord Krishna. So that verse has description something like this. It says that it describes the physical characteristics of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is placing his hand on his elder brother Balaram, and it describes the beautiful physical. He has lotus-like eyes like lotus petals. Yeah, he is garlanded with forest flowers, and he has lilies in his ears. And one hand is resting on Balram, and with another hand he was carrying one lily. He was holding one lily, and he is twirling that lily just like he was twirling the hearts of Yajna Patnis. And he was standing cross-legged, and he was wearing a beautiful yellow dhoti. So that was the verse. So this was the verse. So Ratnagarbha Acharya was reciting this particular verse, and Nimai Pandit was going. And he happens to hear that verse, and then he goes into fit of ecstasy. He starts chanting, Ratnagarbha, keep chanting. When Lord Chaitanya is saying, keep chanting, what will you do? He continues chanting. And Gadadhar was there. He becomes anxiety-ridden. What is happening? It is said 100 people tried to catch Lord Chaitanya, and they were not able to hold him still. He was jumping, dancing, running here and there, and like that, and so, and they couldn't hold him, and he said, keep chanting, and he was continuing chanting. So Gadadhar Pandit went to Ratna, he said, don't keep chanting. He will say, keep chanting, you keep silent. Don't keep chanting. So when Gadadhar said like that, he became a little silent. So yeah, point I'm trying to make is that, so Lord Chaitanya, he heard this, and there is one another pastime which happened nearby, Bhagavata Acharya. Anyway, some other time we'll discuss it. So like that, so Devanand Pandit was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And Devanand Pandit was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. He is scholarly, he may not, when he was speaking, he may not exude such devotion. But Srivas, he became, these verses, whatever verses he was hearing, he went into ecstasy. He went into bhav. And he said he was relishing the devotional service. And he went into such a meditation that he became unconscious. And probably he might have exhibited different symptoms. He was exhibiting different symptoms of ecstasy which normal people could not comprehend. If someone comes and exhibits different symptoms of ecstasy, probably normal people naturally may not comprehend in general. It's likely. So they could not comprehend. And so Devanand Pandit, neither Devanand Pandit could comprehend. People thought that it's a disturbance in the class. So they picked up Srivas and because he was unconscious, it's what they can do. So they picked him up. What they can do means, they can do far better. But then that's what they did. So they picked him up and they put him outside. So Srivas, then later after some time he came to consciousness, and then he saw he was outside, and then it is explained that Srivas, he became very sad and very morose. He thought that they could not recognize my devotion. So like that he felt very sad and very morose, and he with great sadness he walked to his home. But then after going to his home, he could not forget those verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Lord Chaitanya says, do you remember that you are continuing to remember those verses of Srimad Bhagavatam and continuing to meditate on those verses of Srimad Bhagavatam? So how is it possible? Because Krishna says, Sarvasya jaham hridi sannivishto mattas kritir yatam jnanam apohanamcha. So I am the giver of the knowledge. I am the giver of remembrance. And especially matters like this, devotional service, Krishna directly gives remembrance. No, otherwise remembrance may come from our karma probably. But matters like this, Krishna directly gives remembrance. So in this particular instance, so Lord Chaitanya says, so you were remembering these verses again and again. Do you know how you were remembering those verses again and again? Srivas, I was there within your heart. Personally, I was giving you remembrance. And therefore, you could remember those verses again and again, which made you which made you taste the ecstasy towards Krishna. So then he calls Murari. So Murari Gupta is also a very transcendental personality. He also had a similar interaction with Lord Chaitanya, Nimai. When Nimai was very small, so one day Murari was Nimai's classmate. So Murari was walking, and he was discussing Yoga Vasishta, with some of his other classmates. And he was discussing Bhakti also, Yoga Vasishta also, both, Sometimes we discuss, sometimes we talk with devotees then. We discuss devotional service also, we discuss other topics also like that. Something like that. Something similar to that. So he was discussing Bhakti also, he was discussing Yoga Vasishta also like that. Both he was discussing. So then, and he was discussing and he was going ahead, walking. And so right behind him, Nimai was also walking. So, and he had a particular accent. Murari Gupta had particular accent. And Nimai was also imitating that accent in a way that it is very sarcastic to everyone. So Murari Gupta became very angry. He said, why you are imitating, why you are making fool of? Why you are making such sarcastic remarks? Why? What happiness do you derive out of it? He says, you are asking so many questions. Today afternoon during lunch you will come to know. He said. So Murari Gupta, he said this boy is saying something, who will bother. He forgot also. He went to home. He was eating lunch. He told his wife, give lunch. He was eating lunch. And he was eating lunch, so all of a sudden, Nimai comes there, very beautifully dressed. Very beautifully dressed, and he with a beautiful golden complexion, and there was sandalwood on his forehead, and a beautiful garland, and very beautifully dressed, very attractive. And then he comes to while Murari Gupta was eating lunch, he comes, directly, and without uttering a word, while he was eating lunch, in his lunch plate, he passes urine. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's so difficult to comprehend. How can someone do like that? Says, you were mixing devotion with yoga, Vasishtha? This is like this. It's a very different kind of realization he gave. So interestingly, Murari, after that, he thinks, how this boy, he spoke like this and he gave such an interesting realization, different kind of realization. So he he got self-realization. He thought, he understood that this boy is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So like that. So so this is, these are different instances where Lord Chaitanya had with his devotees, dealing with his devotees, revealing how he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, even before he made it public. So he calls Murari, oh Murari, so do you remember in Treta Yuga when Sita was abducted? You flew all the way, all the way to Lanka, all across the ocean. You did it all alone. There was no one ready. And Sita was crying and crying and crying. And when you saw her in that pitiable condition, you also exhibited an ocean of tears. You dropped the ocean of tears. And then you comforted Sita. You said, Mother, do not worry. Very soon Lord Ram will come. And this Ravan will be annihilated. All the forces of Ravan will be annihilated. Mother, just see, just as, a very insignificant monkey like me, who has no qualification, if an insignificant monkey like me could cross this ocean, and not only had I crossed this ocean, but I had stepped on the heads of these asuras, and I have come in front of you in order to give you assurance. If an insignificant monkey like me can do, why not Lord Ram can do? Please rest assured. Please be comforted. Please do not shed these tears. So in this way, Hanuman had given so much comfort to Lord Sita, Mother Sita. So Lord Chaitanya says, Murari, do you remember? So your worshipable Ishtadev is Lord Sita Ram. And then he exhibits Ram Darbar. And Murari gets darshan of Sita, Ram, Lakshman. And Hanuman is missing. How can Sita, Ram, Lakshman be there without Hanuman? And all other monkeys were there also. How can Hanuman be missing? So Lord Chaitanya says, Murari, you are that very Hanuman. And then Murari sees himself, he turns into Hanuman. And he has a tail also. So he becomes very happy. He becomes overwhelmed. So Lord Chaitanya asks, Murari, ask for a benediction. Murari says, I don't want any benediction. No, please ask for a benediction. Murari says, no, I don't want any benediction. Please ask for benediction. Murari says, birth after birth, may you always remain my Lord. May I always practice devotional service. I don't want any other benediction. Then Lord Chaitanya calls for Sridhar. Surprisingly, nobody knows about Sridhar. This is extremely surprising because the devotees were not so. When we understand that devotees at that time in Navadvip, they were to themselves. They were not so popular or prominent or something like that. We don't see so. So they were to themselves. So even the devotees who were to themselves, even amongst them, Sridhar was not prominent. Nobody was knowing. Can you imagine? So this is height of simplicity, probably. And generally, people are all very prominent and popular, and they are moving around here and there, and then some simple devotee is there. He thinks, "Arey, so popular, why I should become so popular? Let me chant Hare Krishna and be happy." That is probably understandable. But these devotees were, they were to themselves, we can understand, and they were within a community, and they were reciprocating with each other. And even amongst them, Sridhar was not known. Extremely surprising. So they asked, who is Sridhar? Sridhar. But the interesting thing is, it is said that it's a small community. If you go to there, now the Sridhar's home is not very far. And Advaita's home and Sridhar's home probably say 2-3 kilometers. Comprehend. Why it is difficult to comprehend? Because Sridhar was a banana seller, banana leaves and banana cups or whatever. Banana in villages. Bananas are the most available trees. Here also we can find banana trees everywhere. So I don't know who in this world will have a market for bananas. That is most difficult to comprehend. Plus he would do business only for few hours. Say he is doing business for 5 hours. Let us say, for argument's sake. It is said every day 2 hours Nimai would come. That means half of his business time, one customer. One customer, half of his business time, loss making customer. Not loss making, exploiting customer. Only one customer, half of his business time. So, for all practical reasons, we can understand that this is only possible for a transcendental relationship. Otherwise, it is not possible. So every day, 2 hours, Lord Nimai would go and harass him. And so Nimai would go and he would say, Sridhar, so I want banana leaves, something, banana leaves. So then Sridhar would offer some price. That is considered to be the minimum price in that locality. So then, no, you are charging extra. So I can't give so much price. I will give half of this. How I have to, at least I should get enough money to go and pluck, to go up the tree and pluck, you need this by knife, na? At least that much money I need, that much also you don't give, then how will I bring these banana leaves here? Money I need. He said, no, you are making a lot of profit. So I want those banana leaves and everything at half price only. He said, who is forcing you to come to my dukan only? You go to someone else's shop, so many shops are there. And if you get a much fair price, you take it from them. No. Why I will go to other dukan? Why I will go to other shop? I will never get a better banana seller than you. So I will come to your shop only and I will harass you only. So he said, He said, what he can say? And interestingly, he would not become angry also. Customer like that comes, businessman, he will keep to security guards afterwards. so Nimai would come every day and he would not become angry, and probably it is said that probably he would consider becoming angry, but when he would see his face, then all anger would dissipate. And he was not able to understand why I am becoming attracted like this. He had a beautiful face and he has a nice tilak adorning his forehead. His eyes were like lotus petals. He has a nose like sesame flower. And he would chew betel nuts. So his lips were reddish in color. And he was wearing a beautiful garland. And he was wearing a yellow dhoti, which was in 3 different places. It was bent in different ways, which brings a very beautiful attire. And he was having a golden complexion. So with a smiling face, he would come in front of Sridhar. And when Sridhar would meditate on this, when he would see this particular form, so he could not say anything. Whatever, after a lot of harassment, finally Lord Chaitanya Nimai would take away those banana leaves at no cost. He would grab them and he would take them away. And Sridhar would meditate on that and he would not say anything. And another day he would come, and again, this is every day's business. This is not one day's business. Every day he would do like this. So another day he came and he said that, Sridhar, why do you worship Mother Ganga? So then Sridhar said that, why do I worship Mother Ganga? I worship Mother Ganga because she is coming from lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. She is servant, or she is the foremost of devotees of Lord Vishnu. Nimai would say, I am that Lord Vishnu. And Ganga is my servant. And Sridhar, Vishnu. He held both of his ears and he said, hey, it is said that as one becomes elderly, as one grows up, one becomes more mature. It appears you are becoming more naughty as you are becoming more notorious as you are growing up. So he said, how can you speak like this? But then, even if it is blasphemy of Lord Vishnu, somehow Sridhar would not become angry. He is not able to comprehend why he was not becoming angry also. He would think later on probably, and then he would meditate on that beautiful form and beautiful characteristics of Nimai and physical characteristics of Lord Nimai and that form, and he could not remember, he could not forget it. And there he would, it is also Chaitanya Bhagavat also says that he would continue sitting there, he would continue doing business, anticipating that Nimai would come and he would harass him in this way. We can also later on understand from benediction which he asked for. So he was sitting there and he was asking for that benediction. He was looking for Nimai, and Nimai comes, and another day Nimai comes. Nimai comes and he asks, Sridhar, so why are you chanting Hare Krishna? Why are you chanting Krishna's names? So what is the benefit of chanting Krishna's names? Why do you chant Krishna's names regularly? And Sridhar is so, he would not have any money, so he would chant Krishna's names, and then the neighbors would think, he would chant Krishna's names loudly. Neighbors would think that probably he has no money, he has no food. So therefore, in order to mitigate himself of pangs of hunger, therefore he is chanting Krishna's names probably. That's what people would think. And when they become very much disturbed, so they would throw carrots or tomatoes in his home so that he will stop chanting and eat carrots and rice and all that. So like that. So why do you chant Krishna's name, Sridhar? And then Nimai would ask that, so why do you chant Krishna's names? And why, if you chant Krishna's names, if Krishna is really merciful, he should have made you richer. You should have had lot of wealth. But you are poor like this, what is the point in chanting Krishna's names? Then Sridhar would say, oh, what are you saying? There is king, he is there in a kingdom, and a bird is there in the nest. Both are doing same thing, eating, sleeping, waiting, defending. How would the king be benefited by greater wealth? But on the other hand, Krishna's names are eternal. So I am chanting Krishna's name, therefore I am chanting Krishna's names. Oh, Nimai would say, oh, you have lot of wealth hidden in your home, hidden with you. So one day I will come and excavate that wealth and show to the whole world that how you are so wealthy. Then Sridhar would say, what are you saying? You can come and see in my home, it's open anyway, and there are probably no locks to that. Anyway, it is said that there were more holes in his home than the holes in his doors, so locks probably were not required also. So anyway, he said, you can come and check in my home, what is there. So Nimai said that I will show to the whole world how you are so wealthy, and right now he is showing it, how he is so wealthy. So Nimai said, call that Sridhar. And Nimai had actually glorified Sridhar. So when he had gone for Nagar Sankirtan, he was carrying thousands of people, lakhs, not thousands, lakhs, millions. It is said no one could describe how many people were there in Nagar Sankirtan, when they went to Chandkazi's home. So they went to Chandkazi's home with millions of people, millions of devotees. And so after arguing with after enlightening Chandkazi, so Nimai was coming back. And while Nimai was coming back after enlightening Chandkazi, he goes to Sridhar's home. And with all these millions of followers, so with all these millions of followers, he was coming back. And while he was coming back at that time, at the door of Sridhar Polavicha, there was an old used pot which Sridhar would use generally for his household work. And with that pot, he takes water and he drinks it, just in order to glorify Sridhar. Sridhar, he sees from distance and he says, Nimai, what are you doing? No, my life is ruined. What are you doing? But his life has already become ruined. Nimai had already drank that water. He came running. So, but by that time he had already drank that water. So in this way he glorified. Lord Chaitanya had glorified at that time, but Sridhar was not knowing. Nimai is such a great, Nimai is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But today, Nimai called Sri Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is exhibiting Mahaprakash Leela, he called Sridhar, and they went and they said that Sridhar, you are being called, and Sridhar became unconscious. They pulled him, they picked him up, and they were bringing him, and they brought him into Lord Chaitanya's presence, and then Lord Chaitanya exhibited a beautiful Vrindavan darshan. He got darshan of Krishna Balram and Vrindavan. And then Lord Chaitanya said, Sridhar, offer verses of glorification. Offer verses of glorification. So then Sridhar offers innumerable verses of glorification because he was empowered by Lord Chaitanya to offer verses of glorification. And then Lord Chaitanya says, Sridhar, please ask for benediction, some benediction. So then Sridhar says, No, I don't want any benediction. No, you have to ask for some benediction. I want to give you. I am obliged to you. You have to ask for some benediction. Please tell me, what do you want? You want a planet? You want a kingdom? You want wealth? What do you want? Please tell me, what do you want? He said, no, I don't want anything. He says, please ask for a benediction. Some benediction you have to ask. And then he asked for that same benediction. Same benediction of being harassed life after life. Every day he was being harassed for half of his business time. So he says, life after life, may that Nimai, as a young Brahman, may he come to my banana shop. And may he harass me, may he do his transcendental dealings with me and purchase my banana leaves. So like that he asked for this particular benediction. And then Sridhar goes away. Then Nimai calls for, Lord Chaitanya calls for Haridas Thakur. Haridas, where are you? Please come. Do you remember when you were being flogged? So at that time I came personally. I was carrying chakra. I was wanting to execute all the people who were flogging you, who were beating you. But then, I was about to kill, my chakra was, and then he said chakra. Chakra is also personality. Sudarshan chakra is also personality. Like when we see some pictures of Lord Narasimha, and Lord Narasimha when he is piercing Hiranyakashipu. So it is said, Vishnu he carries chakra and gada for the sake of disciplining, and Shanka and Padma for the sake of auspiciousness, for the sake of taking care of his devotees. So when Narasimha was wanting to kill Hiranyakashipu, so all the paraphernalia, they became angry. So Chakra was also coming out and he was about to behead all the demons. Even lotus, some pictures of Narasimha we can see, even lotus also they paint as if it became angry, Even lotus which was there in Narasimha's hand, it becomes angry. And you see this Ananta shows becomes very angry with eyes red, like that. Another instance, Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni, Lord Vishnu, he left Sudarshan Chakra and probably forgot. So this Sudarshan Chakra went behind Durvasa. He was going, wherever he was going, Sudarshan was going. He went all over the universe, Sudarshan went all over the universe, he went everywhere. 1 year he was going, Sudarshan was going after him. So we can understand very easily that he is a person. So when Haridas Thakur was being flogged, Lord Krishna himself had personally come and Sudarshan came out and it was about to behead the floggers. So, but the problem is that Haridas Thakur himself started offering prayers on behalf of the executioners. So because he was offering prayers and he was praying for them, so Sudarshan could not do anything, Krishna could not do anything. But then he could not tolerate. Lord Chaitanya could not tolerate. So then he became a covering on Haridas Thakur's back. So whatever flogging had happened, so Lord Chaitanya had personally received it. So then Lord Chaitanya had exhibited it. So when Lord Chaitanya exhibited it, Haridas Thakur became very shocked. He said, and he became unconscious. And then Haridas Thakur says, then Haridas Thakur offers prayers. He remembers Draupadi. So Draupadi was in great need, when she was attempted to being disrobed All the Dushasana was far more powerful. Duryodhana was far more powerful than Draupadi, and Bhima was sitting there, and Bhishma was sitting there, and Arjuna was sitting there, and everyone else was sitting there, but no one was stopping them. So Draupadi was not getting help from anyone. So she could not understand what to do. So at that time she remembered Lord Krishna. So when she remembered Lord Krishna, she was saved from the greatest calamity. And then Haridas Thakur speaks about Parvati. At one time there were some witches who became very powerful, and they were about to eat Parvati. So when they were about to eat Mother Parvati, she remembered Lord Krishna. And as and when she remembered Lord Krishna, Krishna had protected her. And then Haridas Thakur remembered Prahlad. Prahlad was being tortured in so many ways by Hiranyakashipu. He was put under the feet of elephants. He was put in a den of snakes. He was thrown into ocean. And after being thrown into ocean, there were rocks which were put upon him. He was pierced with tridents. And he was put in, today is Holi also. So many people, they celebrate Holi in remembrance of a Holika being burnt. So Prahlad was sitting in the lap of Holika, and she was trying to burn him, but in the process she burnt herself. So in this way, Prahlad was attempted to be tortured in so many ways. But he was constantly remembering you. And because he was constantly remembering you, you were protecting him constantly. And then Haridas Thakur remembered about Pandavas. Pandavas were in exile. And they were in exile, and Durvasa had come with all his 60,000 disciples. 60,000 disciples, can you imagine? 60,000 disciples. Someone has 60,000 disciples, then of course Jebla Maharaj has far more than that also. So, but then if someone goes somewhere with 60,000 disciples, the whole area will become overwhelmed. Somebody comes here with 60,000 people, there will be no place. Probably the whole matter will be occupied. So 60,000 people had come, they visited Pandava's place, and only one cook. Who is that cook? Draupadi Bichari. One cook, 60,000 disciples. Can you imagine? Durvasa is notorious. If you don't please him, bus, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So he is notorious. Thank God we don't have people like so powerful around. Imagine if such people are there around. I don't know what we can do. So Durvasa was so powerful, he came to his home. He came to their home, for Pandava's home, and he said, I am hungry. And Yudhishthira knows power of Durvasa. So he is thinking what to do now. He said, my dear Durvasa, okay, I am hungry means it's not that I am hungry. I am hungry means all 60,000 people are hungry. 60,001 people are hungry. So Yudhishthira said, okay. He said, what can be done? You go and take bath, and come back. How much time people will take bath? 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, something like that. So meanwhile, we'll make meal ready for all of you, 60,000 people. 60,001 people. So then he said, okay. So he went ahead. So Yudhishthira told Draupadi, he said, please tell me what you can do now. And you have to please all the 60,000 people now. He said, what can I do? I can't do anything. We have only one Akshay Patra and that is finished for the day. I can't do anything. He said, big calamity. When we lost because of the dice of gambling, that was a calamity. But this is a bigger calamity because at that time, Duryodhana and all out of envy, they threw us out. But then this is, we are about to incur the wrath of Durvasa. So how will we avoid this calamity? How can we come out of this calamity? At that time, Draupadi remembered Krishna. So Krishna had personally come there. So whenever Krishna, there is one story, it is said, and some people speak about this story, when Draupadi was calling out Krishna's names, Krishna was playing chess with Rukmini. So then Krishna was about to move the chess, that that chess coin. He was about to move and he was not, he was thinking something. So Rukmini says, what are you thinking so deeply? It's a simple game of chess. So there is nothing to think so deeply. He says, no. My devotee Draupadi is in great distress. And she is calling me. And I have to go there. So I am thinking how to go there as early as possible. So Rukmini says, what is the problem when you are going there as early as possible? You can go, Daruk is there, take your chariot, he is a very fast driver. Within no time you can go there. He said, I am in Dwaraka, she is in Hastinapur. It will take very long time, not possible. Oh, it takes long time. Okay, no problem. He says, call your Garuda. Garuda is your vehicle. Daruk will go by road. Garuda will go by flight. He will go by air. So call Garuda. He will take you by air and within few minutes you will reach there. No, the road is very far. It's not possible. So what is this? Daruk also not possible. Garuda also not possible. He said, anyway you are there in her heart. How much time will it require for you to come out of heart and come in front? So you go and just manifest yourself in front of her from her heart. He said, no, the road is very long. The road is very long. And then Krishna immediately says, oh, now I found the road. Now I found the road, I am going immediately, like that he says. So the road which he had found at the end, he said, is the tears of Draupadi. The tears of Draupadi's devotion. That is the road he was looking for. So, so Draupadi was meditating on Krishna. So Draupadi meditated on Krishna. And Krishna came there. And he said that, my dear Draupadi, please tell me, what can I do for you? She said, I am in this calamity. Durvasa Muni had come with all of his disciples. I am not able to provide for them. So I am thinking what to do now. So I am not able to understand what to do now. He said, bring that Akshay Patra. He said, no, it's of no use. He said, bring it, don't worry. So she brought it and he turned it upside down. Now in general, if we wash vessels, we are supposed to wash it very nicely. And it should be sparkling clean, ideally. If not, at least there should be no grains in it. We know it. And this is how we tend to wash it. If we, Kali Yuga products who don't know anything about etiquette and culture, we wash it like that, and we know it, then what to speak of Draupadi, who is such a great devotee? She might certainly be knowing all these rules far better than us. And she might certainly be washing her parts far better than us. And somehow today, this particular day, she washed it in such a way that some grains are still there. And Krishna had taken that, and Draupadi had eaten in that particular dish where Draupadi had eaten, and she washed it, and she washed it in this way, and where there was some small grain, Krishna had taken it with, Krishna had eaten it. And as and when Krishna had eaten it, all the 60,000 disciples, they had indigestion problems. we go back and we don't eat, Bhima is Yudhishthira, he made a meal ready. Probably Yudhishthira is king, emperor, and if he has to offer satkar to some sage, then he will make a grand meal naturally. If he makes a and he's not just an emperor, he's not just a king, he's also a great devotee. And he's not just a great devotee, he is also having Bhima with him. So if there is Bhima also, and Bhima is a great devotee, so and all of them are there, then and if I go there, then what is going to happen to me and all my disciples? So they thought, and they didn't go. They took bath, and it is said they left their gamchas there only and ran away. Leaving their gamchas. So Haridas Thakur says, so Draupadi, she remembered you. She was saved. Ajamil, whole life he was doing sinful activities. At the end of his life, when he was being robbed of his soul, when he was being robbed of his body, when he was being dragged by Yamadutas, and it was so painful. So at that time he didn't have any shelter, and he called out Narayana. So as and when he called out names of Lord Krishna, so immediately Krishna had become very merciful, and he sent the Vishnudutas, 4 Vishnudutas, to give shelter to Ajamil. So Ajamil had remembered you. And he became saved. So my Lord, so all these devotees were remembering you, and they became saved from the greatest calamities. My problem is, I am not able to remember you. So after offering all this praise, this is what he says. My problem is, I am not able to remember you. So Lord Chaitanya says, Haridas asked for some benediction. He says, don't pull me around, don't cheat me around. Enough I have got. I don't want to be cheated anymore. I don't want any benediction. And then he thinks for a while. And then if at all you want to give me a benediction, now we can't imitate all these things. We can only hear and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. We can. So he says, if at all you want give a benediction, please let me dog in your devotee's home so that I can get their remnants. And in this way, be happy getting their remnants. And then Haridas Thakur considers for a while, and he says, what I have asked is far more than what I deserve. He said, I am sorry that I have asked far more than what I deserve. Like that he says. So Lord Chaitanya, he gives him devotional service. And then he calls Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya, he called Krishna to descend And one of his Lord Chaitanya, this Lord Chaitanya Charitamrita, the chapter where Advaita's glories are described, one of his main aspects is he preaches devotional service, including Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and he explains it in a way that monism is defeated. Appears at that time monism is very prominent. Nowadays if we have to explain it, we have to explain it in a way that Bollywood is defeated, cricket is defeated, and politics are defeated, and I don't know what different kind of problems which are there in Kali Yuga. At that time monism probably is prominent. At that time scholarship was prominent, so they have to defeat these things. So for somebody tells us monism is defeated, oh very nice, but we don't understand what it means. Somebody says cricket will be defeated, oh yes, this is very important. Somebody says Bollywood will be defeated, yes, this is very important probably. So that's what. So Advaita had come to defeat monism. So he would interpret Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in a way that monism is put down and devotional service is well established. So there is one verse which says that Supreme Lord's hands, feet and his body limbs are everywhere. And the monis, they explain it they always say that, from this verse we can understand that, Supreme Lord is impersonal. And because if it is everywhere, naturally he is impersonal. How can something be everywhere? How can someone be everywhere? Somewhere something is everywhere, someone is everywhere. Unless and until he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, someone is everywhere, then we can understand that it is impersonal. So they said that this leads to an impersonal explanation. So then Advaita started thinking. So he's thinking, he's not able to understand how to refute it. So he's thinking, he's not able to, he's not able to do his service. So he's not, so then, he's not able to get an explanation. So he was thinking and he started fasting. That was the kind of devotional service he was offering, When we offer devotional service, we don't get solution. First thing, we'll go and take prasad and be happy and don't get a solution. We'll take prasad and be happy. So he started fasting and thinking that, what to do. So, and he was not able to get sleep. Finally, he slept for some time. So at that time, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, so I personally entered your heart to give you an explanation that how this refers to Paramatma who is sitting here, who is there in each and every molecule, he is there, who is there in each and every atom and in everyone's heart. And because Paramatma is everywhere, Paramatma has hands, feet, like everything. So therefore, his Krishna's hands are everywhere, Krishna's legs are, Krishna's feet is everywhere, Krishna's bodily limbs are everywhere. And once you got this understanding, you became very happy, and in this way, you practice devotion service. So Advaita became unconscious. Said, my Lord, and starts offering prayers. He offers innumerable prayers. Then Lord Chaitanya calls Mukunda. We might have no idea. Did I forget anyone? Mukunda was the last person as far as I remember. He calls Mukunda. Oh, sorry. He doesn't call Mukunda. All devotees, they say, my Lord, you are calling everyone. Why didn't you call Mukunda? Please call Mukunda. He says, Mukunda, I am not going to call him. He said, I am going to call everyone, but I am not going to call Mukunda. He said, but what did you do? Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was explaining about that actually. I didn't get such a wonderful explanation earlier. First time I heard this explanation from him. He said that Mukunda, when he was at his home, there were other people who were at his home, and they were all Mayavadis, and he was a devotee of Krishna, and so sometimes they would speak all these things. Shiva is Supreme Personality of Godhead, this is, that is, this. Everything is one, and all that. And Mukunda, he knows that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And but then if you go in the world and different people do different things. If you go and catch everybody and say Krishna is Supreme Personality of God, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you'll pick a quarrel. So he thought that why to pick a quarrel every day and I have to stay in this home. So what is the point in picking a quarrel with everyone? So he was not speaking anything. Then they were speaking like this. So Lord Chaitanya, of all the incidents, of all the devotion which Mukunda had done, he had remembered that in order to glorify Mukunda. He said, this Mukunda, when he is with me, he practices devotional service very nicely, but when he goes out, he glorifies Mayavadis. It is like a person who speaks very sweet words in the front, and afterwards he is beating with a club, beating with a stick on a person's head. So this Mukunda, I don't want to see him. So then Mukunda became very morose. So then Mukunda asked devotees, but devotees were saying, no, Mukunda is not like that. They were trying to plead Lord Chaitanya. Mukunda is not like that. He said, okay. So then devotees were saying that, Mukunda asked devotees that, please ask Lord Chaitanya if at all I will ever take darshan of him. If at all I will ever get his darshan. So then devotees come back to Lord Chaitanya and they ask him that Mukunda is asking, will he ever get darshan? So the devotees, Lord Chaitanya says, tell him he will get darshan after 1 million lifetimes, like that he said. So, and then it is explained that Mukunda was very happy after hearing that. So now we may become happy also if at all somebody says that there could be a chance, that or we may not be worried, not happy. Probably we may not be worried, if somebody says that you will not go back to Godhead in this lifetime. After a few lifetimes you will go back to Godhead. We may not be so worried. Yeah. Anyway, so many lifetimes it is said that millions of lifetimes you have been in this material world. After few lifetimes you have to go back to Godhead. But it's such a big deal. We may think like that. Why we think like that? Not because we have unlimited patience, because we are complacent. If we think like that, that is because of complacency, not because we have unlimited patience. But Mukunda has great enthusiasm. Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Jai. So Mukunda has great enthusiasm and he has unlimited patience as well. Like Rupa Goswami, he speaks about Utsaha, Dhairyat, Nischayat. If only patience is there, then it is laziness. Limited patience. So that's why his patience is glorified. So he had such unlimited patience, he became so happy and he started jumping and dancing and then he became unconscious, he faints. So then Lord Chaitanya becomes very happy. Lord Chaitanya says, when Lord Chaitanya gets this news, he became so happy. Just even after hearing this, bring him here right now. So devotees go and then they say, Lord Chaitanya is calling right now. Mukunda is saying, I will get darshan of Lord Chaitanya after 1 million lifetimes. So and then they were saying, come, he's calling you right now, and he's not able to hear. So they drag him somehow or other. So then Mukunda comes there. Then Lord Chaitanya says, actually I was not angry with you. I just wanted to show your devotion to everyone. And then probably might have, but that is might have spoken something here and there, but that is not of any consideration whatsoever. So I am not at all angry with you. I just wanted to glorify your devotion. So like that. So in this, there were many other devotees. They were asking different benedictions. Someone was coming and saying, may my father become a devotee. Someone was coming and saying, may my neighbor become a devotee. Someone was coming and saying, may I offer more devotional service to my spiritual master. So like that, different devotees were coming and asking for different benedictions. And Lord Chaitanya was fulfilling all those benedictions. In this way, Lord Chaitanya had a personal relationship with all of his devotees. So when we were reading 7th chapter, the next chapter, 8th chapter, it speaks about Adilila. It speaks about how Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, so they are so merciful. So the Panchatattva had come in order to, Krishna is not accessible, but Panchatattva had come in order to become accessible. Now someone may ask, how can we say that they are accessible for us? They are accessible, and they have, the Panchatattva have Lord Chaitanya had divided it into himself into five, so that every conditioned soul, every living entity can approach him and have relationship with him, irrespective of qualification. Like Prabhuji was explaining, patra apatra na dekhi. So we are under shelter of Panchatattva. The interesting thing is, we may not realize it, we may not understand it. There's a whole science about how we are under the shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Panchatattva. So Adilila, it speaks about all five tattvas, and then it says in 7th chapter, 8th chapter, it describes in great detail about how all the five tattvas expand themselves in order to give shelter to each and every living entity. Even a person chants Hare Krishna one time, he comes under the shelter of Panchatattva. So like that. So this is explained. And then there is 6th tattva. There are not 5 tattvas, there are 6 tattvas. The 6th tattva is Guru tattva, who is representation of all the 5 tattvas. And Guru tattva, Guru tattva has relationship with all the conditioned souls in a way that the Panchatattva's mercy is felt and experienced. So like that. So on this auspicious occasion of Gaur Purnima, so let us all pray that we also experience the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Panchatattva, Panchatattvatmakam Krishna, Bhakta Rupa Saprabhakam, Bhakta Avataram, Bhakta Akyam, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So all the five tattvas, they have come in order to offer their mercy. The storehouse of ocean of love of Godhead has been plundered, and the contents are being distributed, and knowingly or unknowingly we have become recipients of it. So since we have knowingly or unknowingly become recipients of it, so let us knowingly become recipient of it, and let us pray that we experience Panchatattva's mercy in our life, and in this way become nourished, and in our own little way, with whatever little capacity we have, offer it to others as well. Thank you very much. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Bhagavan Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo